Yeah, Rowan and I are still here freezing in the name of, your education, such martyrs. And now we just want to, Rowan wants to give you a bit of an outline, really, of just the use of the controller, like the timer here for the drip irrigation. Because here's the manual valve there, right?
Yep. So this is what you've got here is a little ball valve. So it's got a little ball in it, and probably a good piece of advice if you ever encounter one of these out in the field is not to turn it on just all the way, all the time. My advice would be turn it on about a quarter of the way, wait, and then wait until you got water moving through the lines, and then slowly ease the rest of it on to whatever your requirement is.
And Rowan, before you came, we learnt that the hard way down here years ago when there just seems to be a lot of high pressure down here. And they used to blow the, I'll just zero in here, by just letting the water rush out too quickly, used to blow the drip line off the manifold quite a lot.
Yes, which sort of leads me onto this little thing here, which is a pressure reducer. So you mentioned that you had a lot of pressure coming out of these pipes. What this little device does is it ensures that you have a certain amount of pressure leaving this particular device. And in a way, it's an insurance policy against the 19mm poly that we have on the other side, so we're not just going to blow it all out. The other thing you could do, you can see these little plastic clips, they're probably good for a season or two, but even out in the sun they might deteriorate, so you can get the little sort of worm drive metal ones if you flush.
You clamp them up.
And you clamp them up, and that will last a little bit longer. Anyway, under here we've got an automatic remote node made by Hunter, but they're made by all sorts of different companies. We tend to use these a bit around the nursery as well, and while I'm not spruiking for these guys, I have found them to be quite good. Not necessarily the most intuitive device, but certainly very robust. And one nice thing is that they've got two 9-volt batteries in the back, so when one goes, the other one takes over, which is nice.
Because the ones I have over there for my stuff, the battery, they seem to chew through the batteries.
And this one, take this little kind of guard off, you can see it's connected via a wire to a little solenoid here. Effectively, looks really complicated, but what happens is when a particular irrigation cycle has been programmed to start, a little electrical impulse moves through these wires and sends a signal to pretty much open up a gate and let water through. So it doesn't require much energy to do that. And the rest of the battery is just used to maintain the irrigation programs.
So what we should quickly explain is that obviously when the timer's on, you would turn the valve on.
That's right.
So I just actually do that. Sorry, I didn't do it very slowly. So that would be on, and then you'd use the timer to prevent flow until you wanted it.
That's right. This little remote node here is pretty flexible, and it will allow you to have different irrigation programs, up to 3 in the case of this device. And you can set the irrigation to come on 1 through multiple times, 3 to 4 times per day for different lengths of time. And you can also alter the time or during the week you would like this to happen. You might decide, I think when we first set this up, that we wanted it to run with an interval of 3 or 4 days in between cycles. And then you can just watch it and come and change it as you like, or you can run it manually.
Sure.
And that's really it.
Yeah, all right. And it was working beautifully. And then we had a lot of rain, and then there was a little bit of a mini dry spell soon after lockdown, and I just did some manual irrigation for about a week and a half, and then it's just been, obviously the weather's been cooling down for winter, and so we haven't actually used it. But interestingly, we hope you guys come back for second semester, and they're saying it's going to be raining for the rest of the year, but if we have a dry spring, which we've had before, then this will come into its own again for those of you who do put in crops. So, well, thanks heaps, Rowan. That was really interesting. And here comes the rain again.